Guys, I have some very exciting news for you, and it has to do with the new 2021 Ford F-150 Tremor. This is a special off-road package, four-wheel drive truck, which now is joining the Ford Super Duty Tremor and the upcoming Ford Ranger Tremor. In this video, I'm going to give you all the specifications, everything you need to know about this new truck. It's very interesting. It's got a lot of cool gear, but it also has a couple of small disappointments that I'll tell you about in a second. So let's dig in. So we have all the pictures, all the information right here on tfltruck.com. And really, I think this is Ford's answer to the Ram Rebel and the Chevy Silverado Trail Boss, and also, of course, the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro and Nissan Pro 4X, because this truck gets a small suspension lift, special tuning for the springs and shocks, off-road ready, all-terrain tires. Of course, it has a rear locker. It's also stealing a few parts from the current Ford F-150 Raptor. So it's very interesting. It also can be the truck that many Raptor customers could buy or would buy because right now the previous generation Raptor is finishing production and the next generation third gen Raptor is still not here. So this could be kind of a stopgap measure for people who want extra performance but cannot wait for the Raptor or don't have the money to buy a full-blown Raptor. So let's take a look at the suspension really quick. This Tremor, when you compare it to a regular F-150 4x4, has about 1.5 inches more travel in the rear, 1 inch additional travel in the front. It has, according to Ford, about 1.5 inches additional ground clearance. It's riding on a 33-inch, let me just show you here really quick before we go into some other numbers. 3-inch general grabber tire. Sorry about that. Special 18-inch wheels that are unique to the Tremor package for the F-150. And I think what they're saying also that the offset of the wheel makes this truck a little bit wider track, maybe about up to an inch wider than a regular F-150. So it also has a lot of other cool parts that I'll show you in a second. As you can see, here's a kind of a preview of what it looks like. And they're going with this orange theme and color. They're calling it active orange. Yes, that's a Ford term, active orange. So let's quickly just take a look at some of the other gear that the F-150 Tremor has. And right here I have a table, the current Raptor versus the upcoming Tremor. This F-150 Tremor, according to Ford, will be available in the summer of 2021. So here's an interesting thing. They're going to be offering the F-150 Tremor with one engine option. That's what the press release says. 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 with 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. As you can see, the torque compares very close to the Raptor. Of course, a little bit less horsepower. But this is kind of strange because I was expecting a selection of engines. If you look at what Ford did with the Super Duty Tremor, they're offering it in a gas engine and a diesel with several different trim level packages, and so they're offering a lot of choice. Here for the F-150 Tremor, they're going with one engine right now, 3.5-liter EcoBoost. It's a very strong engine. But I was also expecting maybe a hybrid. I was also expecting maybe a Coyote, the 5-liter V8, because right now you cannot get a V8 in the Raptor. So in my mind, it made a lot of sense to put a V8 into a Tremor F-150 truck and offer some choices to the customers. But maybe it's not clear why Ford did this. It may have to do with supply, demand, parts, etc. So it is what it is right now. Only 3.5-liter EcoBoost, only crew cab, only short bed, obviously four-wheel drive only. You could see it has a unique bumper with cutouts for the rear exhaust. So it's a dual exhaust system, well, at least dual outlets, maybe not a true dual exhaust system. You can see all the kind of suspension travel and flex that this truck is kind of showing off in this image. Supposed to be quite a bit better, maybe not Raptor levels of suspension travel, but still better travel than the current F-150 4x4. Here's something else interesting. they're going to be offering an optional Torsen LSD front differential. Very much the same like the currently available in the Raptor. They're saying it's not going to be available at launch. It will be an option. It will come just a little bit later into the F-150 Tremor. Also, torque on demand transfer case from the Raptor is also coming to the F-150 Tremor. This is a transfer case that combines all-wheel drive and kind of four-wheel drive capability. It's kind of a more smart transfer case, so that's going to be available as well. The shocks are just Tremor shocks. It's specially tuned Ford shocks. They're not Fox live valve or any type of Fox or Bilstein or anything like that. Let me show you an image of this. Here's a look at the shock. This is kind of a rear axle. You can see actually a small block right here. This is, I think, where the lift comes from, a small lift on the suspension. Although initially in the press release, Ford did not really mention the suspension lift, but now they're saying 1.5 inches approximately of suspension lift. So that's pretty cool. So it's stealing some parts from the Raptor. That's really neat. Like I said, tires are 33-inch general grabbers, so not huge tires. And here's some of the approach and departure and breakover angles. Here's how it compares to the Ram Rebel and the Trail Boss. I kind of put this table together with kind of maximum power available, also maximum towing and payload, which is pretty interesting because Ford wants to keep this Tremor truck still capable of pretty heavy work. So they gave it 1,885 pounds of maximum payload, which is actually more, as you can see here, than the Trail Boss and the Rebel by a little bit. And they gave it 10,900 pounds of maximum towing capacity, which is still great for a half-ton. It is more than the Trail Boss, but a bit less actually than the Rebel. Depending on which Rebel you choose, which engine option, etc., the Rebel can be configured slightly higher for towing, but anything near 11,000, I think it's really great capability. But approach angle, breakover, departure angles, this is kind of interesting. Obviously, they improved them over the regular F-150, but it's not quite as great as some of the other trucks, as you can see. So the Trail Boss has a slightly better approach angle, and then the departure angles, both the Rebel and the Trail Boss are quite a bit higher actually than the new F-150 Tremor is reporting. I don't have all the complete data on the breakover angles, but this departure angle is actually 24.3 degrees, which is better than the current Raptor, which is at 23 degrees. So Ford is improving it, but it's not quite as high as what we see on some of the other trucks. Let's look at some of the cosmetic items. Here's the interior. I hope you can see a pretty good detail of this. Once again, kind of orange stitching throughout, and you can see this is a pretty premium truck. We don't have the pricing yet on the F-150 Tremor, but I have some guesses as to what it will be. I'll tell you in a second. But I think one of the more intriguing things about it, other than the hood and the seat trim and the auxiliary switches and the skid plate and a Raptor-like step, the really intriguing stuff is actually the technology that it's offering. Let me show you. So they have introduced something called Trail One Pedal Drive. So what this is, it's kind of similar to an electric car and how you have one pedal driving where, you know, when you're on accelerator, the truck is accelerating, and when you're coming off the accelerator, it could brake for you without you actually putting your foot on the brake. And this is meant not for electric driving, obviously, it's not an electric truck, but it's meant for smoother off-road, slow-speed driving. So it's like a one-foot operation on the accelerator pedal, which is very interesting. This is new. I haven't seen it in the pickup truck yet. Very, very interesting, and I think this is a preview of what the next Raptor might have. Another very interesting thing is a trail turn assist. This is basically a rear dig. So let me show you actually in the video really quick how this might work. So basically this feature also came out on the new Ford Bronco, where they can actually brake an inside rear tire to make a turn tighter off-road. So here you can see the truck is kind of dragging the rear tire and potentially, in theory, making a tighter turning radius for off-road, maybe on a switchback, something else like that. This is video that Ford provided. Obviously, the truck running in different off-road areas. Here's another kind of look at what this truck looks like. So they're adding one pedal driving, turn assist with the rear tire brake feature. And also, of course, crawl control, trail control system for the Ford is still available, which is a slow speed cruise control for off-roading only. Hill descent control is available. Driving modes are available, including rock crawl mode for adjusting how the transmission behaves and how the engine power is delivered, etc., etc. So this truck is really actually very full of tech. So that begs the question. They're using the premium engine, right? They're putting some premium tech into this truck. How much is it going to cost? They didn't say, but here's what we know, that the Super Duty Tremor package is about $4,000, just under. The Ranger Tremor package is just over $4,000 at about $4,300. My guess, personally, this is not from Ford, but my guess is that the F-150 Tremor will be closer to the Ranger price, potentially a little bit higher because, well, first of all, you have to have the EcoBoost engine, so that already costs money. But then on top, for all the Tremor goodies, it could be about $4,000, maybe a little bit higher, because you're adding a lot of technology. Also the transfer case, also the front differential, limited slip torsion. So it could be quite expensive. I'm guessing high 40s overall for the starter model for the Tremor. High $40,000 range, maybe low 50s. But they have to be careful. It cannot be more expensive than the Raptor starting price. So there you have it, guys. We have all the videos, all the information on tfltruck.com. Let me know what you think about this. This is, I think, very interesting news that Ford is actually adding a new package, which is above FX4 and not quite a Raptor. Thank you very much.